So, Hare Krishna. So we'll get into this. There is a brief note. There will be this thing ASK. ASK is an acronym for Always Seek to Learn. That means the opportunity to ask your questions, and we'll deep dive into that specific topic which is being discussed. Hare Krishna. So what we do is that before we start speaking, it is the etiquette that you always chant the Mangala Charana prayers. So those of you who know the Mangala Charana prayers, you could unmute and please chant alongside with me. We'll start with Om Bhagavate Namaha and go through the rest of the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jamudirite Ashtrayeshu Apatreshu
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
Shloke
निवृत्तं श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति
Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Namaha Shri Chaitanya Ishtam Apitam Yena Bhutale Swayambhu Padam Dadati Swapapantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Prabhupada Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Savjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Haricha Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Bhanu Sute Devi Nami Hari Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachare Nirvishesha Ati Vasyadesha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. So, what we'll do is we'll go through the first agenda, that is a quick review of what Nectar of Devotion is all about. So if you read the introduction, Prabhupada has very nicely encapsulated the entire, there are about 51 chapters, and the essence of all of that, he's brought it into this introduction. So we have introduction by Srila Prabhupada and his purports to the 51 chapters. One way of looking at nectar of devotion is, it is that switch. You turn it on for bhakti, and everything everywhere will be brightened. Right now, we are in the darkness of ignorance. The very fact that we are here in the material world is, ignorance, avidya. So, nectar of instruction is that switch, correct? And you turn on the switch. When you turn on the switch, what happens? Light comes. So that is the basis of nectar of devotion. Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada, he, that compassion for all these conditioned souls, stumbling, stubbing your toe in the night, you have to get up And if you have to visit the restroom, new unfamiliar place, you stub your toe. Like this is happening to us in our lives. In the darkness, we're wandering about here and there. We think we're very enlightened. But reality, birth, old age, disease, death, this is where we keep stubbing our toes, not learning. Are Baba, light, turn it on. Okay. So, nectar of devotion. And of course, you know, my grateful thanks, my obeisances to our dear Sameshwar Prabhu, who has tirelessly been having these forums since the COVID time and non-stop without a break. So many nice shastras that we've covered, Bhagavad Gita, instructions, now nectar of devotion that we're doing. So nectar of devotion, it can be, you see the summary, summation, is it talks about rasa. Those of you from the Indian continent, subcontinent, rasa, this word you'd be familiar with rasa. Now, rasa is basically a taste or a mellow. In absence of that taste, um, you get something out of it. You really won't engage with it, whatever it be. And it could either be mundane, which all of us, I know I am, engage in for the gratification of the senses flickering, right? Because the taste gives some kind of a pleasure. And it's described that anything, fruits of happiness in this material world contain seeds of sorrow in it. And it's only a matter of time that it fructifies. So it is flickering. The other rasa is the rasa that one gets in engaging in acts of devotional service, bhakti. That is eternal. It's not flickering. Eternal. Eternal means everlasting. Now, we may say that, oh, we all have a shelf life. We are finite creatures. Yes, the body is finite, but bhakti is a function of the soul, which is eternal. So, whatever is done in bhakti and that rasa that you get, it doesn't end with the end of this body. So, let's say that you're on this path of progress, Krishna consciousness, elevating a consciousness, and let's say that you do only 10%, correct? Next life, you start off at 10%, you get the opportunity, the body that you would be in. So this is what it is. Now, a very interesting thing I'll share with you. I'm a Sunday school teacher, and several years
Several
ago,
years ago.
we didn't have a wonderful temple like what we have now. So there was this room where outside they used to do the services, and one small side room we had for all the children. That was a Sunday school classroom, and it was fantastic. I mean, the depth of perception children have. Literally, they say child is the father of man. Their power of observation, their power of absorption, attention that they pay. So one child asked, uh, he must have been about 4 years or 5 years, little guy. He said, Prabhuji, why is Krishna blue in color? And that question stumped me. I didn't have an answer. I said, I'll get back to you. So I asked Ramapad Maharaj that, I'm asked this question and what's the answer? So he gave an explanation. Krishna, blue means like, the dark blue, the gray cloud and rain cloud that we see now up above us in the sky, Shama Sundar. Yeah. Now, it's all because of this rasa. Now, we all have this rasa, this taste in relationship with our spouse, our child, our grandchild, our parents, our siblings, our friends, our office colleagues, our neighbors, and whatever it be. There are so many different relations, and there are these rasas. And each rasa, there is a certain degree of that rasa, that mellow you get. So, someone whom is really beloved to you, that is very concentrated, that rasa. Now, each of these rasas is represented by a color because colors actually evoke emotion, just as sound evokes emotion. Colors evoke a certain type of emotion. So we can see this in our mundane life. You have the traffic signal. Red, universal means stop, danger. Green, safe, go. Correct? So, like this, each of these rasas have different colors. Now, if you see the color spectrum, it's not just the seven main colors, the pure, but actually there are several infinite number of hues of color. So just as there are infinite jivas and there are infinite number of rasas that these jivas have with one another, it's represented by a certain color. Now, in the material world, our relationships eventually will end up disappointing each other. Doesn't matter. When you're dating, you're quoting, it's, oh, honey, oh, baby, my sweetheart, my Janu, my babe. You know, I'm a person from the 80s, and that time it used to be babe, Babe. You call your beloved babe. And I heard recently some of the youngsters, they've shortened the babe to Bay, Bae, Bay. You're Bay, Bay. So I used to wonder, what's this babe? And then I asked my kid, and then dad, yeah, it's a term of affection. Babe. What happens then, as the saying goes, love at first sight, divorce at first fight. That's what it is. However, we also have a unique relationship with Krishna. He's the reservoir of all these relationships, source of everything, right? Sarva Karana Karanam. He is that reservoir of all these rasas, and he reciprocates in full and never disappoints. Never disappoints. The only relationship that will never be disappointing is with Krishna and lovers of Krishna, pure devotees of Krishna. This is the only place where whatever you repose in is fully reciprocated, fully. And since that each rasa has these infinite colors, and Krishna has relationships with infinite, innumerable jivas in the material and the spiritual realm, when all of that is amalgamated together, it turns the beautiful color of Sham Sundar. How beautiful is this, right? Rasa, that is what rasa is. It gives Krishna his color of Shama Sundara. So, Nectar of Devotion gets into details regarding this thing called rasa. Then there is perfection in love. And very simply put, if you love Krishna, it is really easy to love everything and everyone. Right now, we are selective in whom we love. Birds of the same feather flock together. Very popular saying, correct? What this means is that if your likes and dislikes match mine, if we hate the same person, then there is affinity. Keep in mind, our relationship is bonded on basis of hate for someone. However, if we love Krishna, again, that principle of Sarva Karana Karana, nothing exists except Krishna and Krishna's. So if you love Krishna, how could you hate what is his? So if we really love, if you um, yeah, really, really, really love, of course, we all have experienced love in some form or the other. But again, it's the material kind of love, which is mixed with self in the self gain, what you say over there, no matter how selfless it be. Okay, so if we really love Krishna, then it's automatically you love everything and everyone. So in that state, you know you can't help but serve. Bhakti, loving devotional service. So love, there's only two things that the jiva requires: to love and to be loved. And for this, we are running here and there, never ever satisfied. Next thing is what you're going, never satisfied with the relationships, never satisfied with things. And sadly, we love things and use people instead of using things and loving people. That's what the condition we are in. But with bhakti, there is love, there is devotion, and there is service. Okay? Love is something which is unconditional, unmotivated, uninterrupted. That is the definition of love. Okay. Devotion is single focused attention, nothing else. That's a devotion. And service. Service is the platform on which love is exchanged and reciprocated. So that is what is called bhakti. When we engage these senses of ours under the service, okay, of the master, the supreme master, Krishna, okay, under the guidance of a guru, not just I'll do it anything and everything, whatever I feel like impulsively. No. That is called bhakti. So currently, we all have our senses which we are engaged in our self-centered activities. The same thing, if we take it as per whatever instructions Guru has given us, the Guru Varga, yeah, to Krishna's service, that becomes bhakti. With a bona fide Guru as a servant of the Guru, servant is always serving. Yeah. So this is what is the entire overview, or you can say the rasa of nectar of devotion. Hare Krishna. Humble, humble obeisances to Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Any questions or a comment? Okay. Now, what is chapter? Dr. Madhurya Leela Mataji, either you have a question or if you could please mute if you don't, or a comment. Thanks. So, overview of
Hare
chapter.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Sorry,
Krishna.
is it a Hare Krishna? So when I was in the temple this weekend, I was contemplating how Sri Radha Shamasundar are the black and the white. But if you go to the Philadelphia temple, Sri Radha Surad Bihari are white and white. And as you are giving the explanation of the rasa, which I know rasa from Ayurveda and the different flavors, different tastes, yes. So if we see Radha and Krishna where they are white and white versus black and white, is that connotating that they are a different rasa of Krishna? Or what is the reason why they might be one versus the other?
The
Thank you.
original Krishna is Shyam Sundar color. Krishna, Krishna. But Krishna is infinite. You and me have just this one form. Some of us may be dark skinned, some may be light skinned, some may be, brown skinned, whatever it be the case. We have just one, we are limited. Krishna is unlimited. And as he's unlimited, he has unlimited names, he has unlimited forms, he has unlimited pastimes. And in each of that form that he takes is he does it for enjoyment. So yes, there is Krishna. He comes as Varaha. He comes as a red Varaha. He comes as Lord Ramchandra as green. He comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as golden. So there are different mellows of feelings that he has, Mataji. But that original is Shama Sundar. That answer your
Thank you.
question?
Yes, largely. And I knew of the different uh, colors in different stages. I had read, I think it was during Kartik, an explanation of the Shama Sundar being how it's the dark merging into the white, and that it is a merging of going from an impersonal to a personal understanding, and that's when the Shamasundar avatar kind of takes that
Yeah,
transition of drawing someone away from impersonal and bringing them into the personal connection. I thought that was very beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu.
very nice. Thank you for sharing that. Very nice. I hadn't heard this before. But yes, whatever Krishna does is for a purpose. And that purpose is to elevate and bring people closer. His everything is he wants everyone to come closer. That's so beautiful what you said, Mataji. Hare Krishna, and different stages of realization by different acharyas, by different uh, persons at that level of purity. So it may seem the same thing, but it's like how Prabhupada gave the example of an ice cream cone. Whether you taste it from this end or whether you taste it from that end, it will always give you that rasa. And in Krishna's case, it is like with every bite that you take, there is a new rasa and things like that. Thank you. Your name is Mangala Chitra Dasi, Devi Dasi. Pranam. Thanks. Okay, so moving on, we'll now come to what is the uh, overview of chapter 11, the specific chapter that we are on. It talks about the different aspects of transcendental service. I saw this little picture over here. So there is this gentleman with a uh, kind of a telescopic device, and far off he's seeing. So something similar, this overview of the chapter, it'll give us a far off sense. It'll give us the idea of what's going on, and then we will get deeper to those aspects. So that overview, what it does is it tells us that there are these four main areas. Okay. What is servitorship? And then yesterday, nicely, Prabhu was explaining, Gopikan Prabhu, categories of bhakti and friendship rasa. This is one of the most difficult and complicated to understand. Better still, he gave a very nice answer. Follow the Acharya. Acharya has given us the medicine. Srila Prabhupada said, for Kali Yuga, everyone is Dasya. In fact, everyone is Dasya. Uh, the rasa, the bhava, which is above, automatically includes whatever are the rasas underneath that. So Madhurya has all the other four rasas. The next is Vatsalya has three, and so on and so forth. So, but we are dasa, 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 and das. Then you have how do you surrender to Krishna? What is surrender? Surrender in the material connotation is something of weakness, or cowardice, that overwhelming force, and I can't really, mere balbute mein nahi hai. I don't have the wherewithal, so I throw my hands up or I put a white flag over there, surrender. I tried everything and I gave up. Yeah. Prabhupada has given a very important instruction on this word surrender. Surrender with intelligence. Do not surrender your intelligence. In event we surrender the intelligence, then no matter someone tells us that, oh yeah, I'm an authority and I'm speaking from the Shastra, which is authority, we get brainwashed and then we turn into fanatics and we are just puppets to somebody's agenda. And we think that we have surrendered. No, that is foolishness. Surrender with intelligence. Do not surrender your intelligence. So different things that you can do, which will automatically bring about this real surrender, what surrender is. And finally, Tulsi worship. What is Tulsi worship and the significance of Tulsi worship. So this thing of bhakti, what is servitorship? Yeah, servitorship. Servant over here is kind of menial in the material world. Because, the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Whereas being a servant is the highest designation, so much so the Supreme Master wants to become the servant of his devotees. That's the beauty of it. And servitorship is transcendental. Why is it transcendental? What does transcendence mean? Transcendence means something which is above and beyond. Above and beyond what? Above and beyond the limitations. And whatever is this daldal, whatever is this, whatever we are all encountering, this duality of this material world, it's above and it's timeless. There's no effect of time over there. And it's beyond whatever we are. It's also beyond the capacity of what this finite mind has. We cannot even think about what it is. And that it benefits once a person gets into service, devotional service, seva, I'll use a short word, seva. What happens? He or she gets that benefit. And it's not only just physically performing that act, but actually, even if you have that desire to serve. Bhakti Tirth Maharaj has said, when the desire to serve exceeds one's capacity and capability, but still the person engages, somehow or the other he'll do it. That is when divine empowerment happens. So even desiring to serve. Now imagine this way, I go to my office and there are certain things to be done. And yeah, I desire it to be done. What happens? Will it get done? Will I get any gain out of it? In fact, I may get into deep trouble. For that, I have to do and I have to show the results. But Krishna, so merciful, so beautiful, what Krishna says is that he doesn't look at our results. He knows that we are imperfect. He knows that, yeah. He accepts our intent, our intention. So when the opportunity comes for seva, typically the knee-jerk reaction is we first look at our convenience, doable if able, you know. But when we are jumping for the opportunity for seva, yeah, it doesn't mean that you neglect whatever other responsibilities you have. But as long as that burning desire is there, he makes arrangement that divine empowerment happens. Try it, dear devotee, it works. It works. So they have these categories of bhakti and friendship, rasa, which is a confidential servant, and one is from a distance and a well-wisher of Krishna. Then surrendering to Krishna, very important, yeah. Now, what happens is when you surrender, actually the summum bonum of the entire Bhagavad Gita is sarva dharman parityaja, yeah, mam ekam sharanam vraja, tvam sarva papabhyo mokshishyami ma sucha. What is Krishna saying? Surrender, surrender. Yeah? And when that process begins, from within, as a Chaitya Guru, he starts giving us instructions, what to do, what not to do. Somehow or the other, no matter what our intellect capacity be, no matter how smart we are, no matter how much we think things through, we will err and we will commit mistakes and we will goof up. We have done it in the past, we are doing it right now, and it will happen in the future. There's no escape from it. That's the condition of the material jiva with a material body. So what happens is when we start this process, then Krishna starts giving these instructions, yeah, and it brings us closer and closer and closer to him. Of course, doesn't mean that it is something mundane like, oh, Krishna, should I take up this job offer or should I take up this job offer? What should I be doing over there? No. If that job offer is something, if it's in a Nishkam Karma mode, wherein whatever the fruits of my labor, I'm using
Hare
it in
Krishna, please come, Prabhuji.
whatever I'm looking at is I'm offering my fruits
Please
of my
come.
labor. Krishna, Simesha Prabhu, your mic is on. So that is what is. Simesha Prabhu, can you mute the mic? There's an echo coming from you. Thanks. Haribol. So, Haribol, Simesha Prabhu. I'm sorry. Simesha Prabhu.
I'll call him up and tell him.
Yeah, please. Okay, I think I'm the host. I'm able to mute him. Okay. So, life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. That's what John Lennon said, right? In one of his songs that he wrote for his son. And that's indeed true. Here, the flow is going on, but something else happens. You have no control over it. Very bold. So this is what we are, and we think I am the doer. No, you're not the doer. You're just a part, insignificant part in that entire apparatus of things getting done. So, when we start this surrendering process, that's when we start getting these instructions. And the level of detail and the clarity with which we are able to hear and understand, it just depends on the level of a surrender. If it's partial, you'll just get something like a little bit of glimpse. If it's full, you'll be, perfectly clear. Okay. Then also when we are performing endeavors and offering various things, you could do both, offer things that are really dear to you, and you could also be pleasing him by stuff that makes him happy. The operative word is for Krishna's pleasure. So if there is something which is really, 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 really dear to you, your most prized possession, and willingly you offer it to him. That makes him so happy. It's your prized possession, but hey, Krishna, this is for you. Hare Krishna. And then Tulsi worship. Tulsi worship is the most important part of bhakti. We kind of do it mechanically, just like so many other things, like doing japa or whatever it is, which is fine, very much necessary. Initially, it will be mechanically because we are so conditioned and we're trying to bring about discipline. But Tulsi Maharani, it's so powerful. There's so much potency that we worship her, and we'll see when we get excuse me, in some detail, why it is so. Hare Krishna. So the first one is complete self-surrender, Atma Nivedana. So the image that you see on the right is one Mataji with her hands up. So when I first came to ISKCON, I entered the temple room and there were these bunch of devotees at Radha Gopinath Mandir in Chowpatty, Mumbai. They were jumping up and down. The Aarti had ended. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And they were jumping up and down, high in the air. And I entered in and it was a shock to me. And I said, oh boy, a bunch of fanatics. These guys are crazy. Like how you have these whirling dervishes. Because of all my misconceptions, misunderstanding, you really don't understand, because my understanding of bhakti and things spiritual is, it's all very calm, Hari Om, Shanti, nice and sensitic, everything is quiet and meditative, stuff like that. ISKCON, coming into ISKCON, reading Prabhupada's books, associating with the devotees, brought about the realization what bhakti actually is, which we'll see here. So what does this hand going up, universally it means I surrender, I give up. But one Prabhu had given a nice explanation. He says that whatever we have is that we are offering it to you. Hey, Prabhu, please take this. We're offering it to him. Usually when we give some stuff, you get it. You give like this, your hand is like this, and the one who receives is like this, like this. So I remember there was this person who was boasting of, oh, I've never put my hand in front of anyone like this. I've never put my hand in front of anyone like this, showing off that I'm a self-made man. I've never put my hand in front of anyone like this. This means, you're begging. A beggar comes to you, he does this. So another gentleman, he put him in his place. He says, well, you haven't done this, but you have done this, you have grabbed stuff away. And when we are doing this, we are offering it. You get it? What are we offering? What can you offer Krishna? Everything is his already. What are you offering him? Think about it. Can you offer anything? You can only give something which is yours. Do you have proprietorship over anything? Zilch, nothing, nada. Nothing belongs to us. If something belongs to us, we should be able to control it. You buy an apple from the store, you keep it, you think it is my apple. I purchased it. I paid the bill for it. Rightfully, it is mine. Yes, legally, everything it would be yours, but you're not really the controller. Because if you're the owner, you have control over it. And control means you can tell, thou shalt not rot. Is it possible? No, nature will take its turn. So actually, Krishna is the one who's the owner and who can do that. He's done that. Yeah, about man-made laws, about natural laws and whatever else that you have. So what can you give Krishna? All that we can give him is this free will which we have misused, this false ego that we have. You get it? And, I'm fully surrendered unto you. Hare Krishna. So it means that transforming from, self-centric and becoming Krishna-centric. So that becomes from karma. Whatever activities we do incurs karma for ourselves. Yes, sense gratification. It becomes karma. Self means I, me, myself, mine, and extensions thereof. So, for example, you light a matchstick, correct? Now, that matchstick with that flame, it could be used to light up an incense stick and offer that fragrance for the pleasure of Krishna's senses. Or that same matchstick could be used to light up a cigarette, and that nicotine rush would give me sense pleasure. The action is the same. One of them is karma. So that matchstick which is lit for the cigarette is karmic activity. And I will incur the consequence, good or bad. Whereas the one which I've offered, that becomes a karma. Bhakti. Bhakti has no karma attached to it. So much so, bhakti negates whatever karma is there. Bhakti negates whatever karma is there. So self-surrender means, taking this out and putting Krishna in the center. Like the example, you want to light a matchstick? Yes, for Krishna's pleasure. Now, when the self, the acharyas have described, self Atma means body, the mind, and the soul. Commonly, we call Atma as the soul, but it also refers to your body and the mind. And that sense of Atma Nivedan, you have complete dependence on Krishna. Whether you keep me or whether you kill me, I am your eternal servant, Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj, great Acharya, pure devotee of Krishna. Okay, Prabhupada on the Jaladuta when he came here. What am I? I'm just a puppet in your hand. You know what? The puppeteer has those strings, right? If he does this, the hand goes up. If he does this, it will come like that. Whatever you do, I'm a puppet on. See, that is the level of surrender. That in absence of the puppeteer, it is just a limp doll. The puppeteer brings it to life. This is Prabhupada's deep, deep realizations and feelings. That is Atma Nivedana. Now, obedience leads to surrender and vice versa, meaning to say that when we are obedient, currently we are disobedient. We only obey the dictates of our mind. Anyone else tells something, even if it's for our good, Mama, why should I do it? Oh, what do you mean? This, that, thousands of questions will come over here. So when we accept an authority, even though we may not understand it, we accept it. You ask questions, you get to know more and more, you gain knowledge, like what we're doing right now in these forums. We're trying to understand stuff. Yeah. Obedience leads to surrender. It becomes a natural. Initially, it's going to be a disciplining process, then it becomes naturally. And once when a person is surrendered, then automatically he obeys. There's no question, there's no resistance. Hare Krishna. And of course, there is this formal process of Diksha. There are different types of Diksha. There is the Harinam Diksha, wherein the spiritual master initiates the disciple in the chanting of the holy name. There is a formal ceremony where you have the fire sacrifice, and then in the assembly of Vaishnavas and presence of fire and the deities, the vows are taken, and then, it's like a birth. You get the name, a spiritual name, and that's the formal. So what you're doing, that formalization is commitment to surrender. So the disciple says, yes, I will chant 16 rounds. I will give up meat eating, whatever are the four don'ts, and I will do this. You make a formal vow that. But a real initiation happens is when you surrender to the instructions of the spiritual master. This is a formality. This is a formality. It's necessary because we are so indisciplined. Otherwise, we'll just take it casually. Like marriage certificate makes it legal. But to make marriages work doesn't mean that you need a certificate. No certificate has made marriage work. Certificates come in handy when, marriages are breaking and splitting apart over there. So similarly, like our initiation, there is that formality. It is necessary. You get it for our sake. However, what really makes it work, what will bring you closer to your Guru, is obeying his instructions. So I had asked my Guru Maharaj, is there an instruction for me? So he laughed and he said, listen to my lectures. So it was kind of cryptic, the answer which he gave me. And, so many lectures, now how are you going to listen to all of those? So still bewildered. And then I asked Jayadvaita Maharaj, I said, Maharaj, this is my problem. I asked Gurudev and he said, listen to my lectures, the instructions are therein. And I always thought instructions are personal for you. Guru Maharaj knows what's in your heart. Even what you don't know, he knows. That's the empowerment, divine empowerment. So what do I do? Because public lectures are general. You get it? So he says, then what you do is you follow the instruction which he most repeats. There will be a theme, which he most repeats. Now, if you pick up on that and you follow that, of course, there are some devotees who get, specific instructions. So, however, whatever, whether it be specific or whether, it is that flavor, whole and soul, do your best. Doesn't matter if you can't do it perfectly, at least endeavor to do it. That would bring you closer and closer and closer to Gurudev. And the moment you're closer to Gurudev, automatically you're closer to Krishna. Gurudev is nothing but a, human manifestation of Krishna's mercy. Hare Krishna. Oh, any questions? I'm sorry. Or a comment or realization? Very good. We'll move to the next one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Reflection and then a comment. When you were speaking about the match, there was actually a video. I don't know if it was shared publicly or just within the disciple family of my Gurudev, where he was out on book distribution and he, the gentleman was interested in the book, but he had no dakshin, and he kind of started to walk very away from it once the dakshin component came in. And he says, "No, really, I don't have anything." And he pulls a cigarette lighter out of his pocket. And he was like, "This is all I have in my pocket." And so Gurudev says, "Wonderful, thank you." And he takes the cigarette lighter and says, "I'll put this to good use." And he hands him the Bhagavad Gita and he has him recite the Mahamantra. And then later on, he shows using that same lighter that he had received as dakshin to light the incense in offering his arti that evening to the puja, and showing how he took this thing from this man who was giving him negative karma and used it to his benefit in a karma. So I appreciated that story that you shared. And then I also heard through my Gurudev that it's often that the Guru will be very intentional with how and what they give as direction, so as to make sure that the disciple is not put in a circumstance where they would disobey the spiritual master.
Yes.
So even sometimes, if they think the best thing is do exactly this, if they aren't certain that the disciple would be able to follow that, they would give a more general, so as not to put the disciple in a position where they would create an offense to the spiritual master. And that compassion with which they guide us in our path is so very powerful beyond what we can comprehend. Hare Krishna, thank you.
So nice. See, this is what it is when devotees share. There's so much that we can get to learn. So right now there was just one little point of matchstick, but Mataji gave an actual demonstration, a live demonstration of, the same thing, the matchstick. And I'm sure all of you, it's not that, Mataji is initiated and it happened with her Guru Maharaj. There are so many things that we can draw parallel from, or a question is raised, or we get to deep dive. So thank you. And I please encourage everybody, don't feel shy, whatever it is, this. And even if suppose you think it is wrong, no one is going to sit in judgment. Believe me, no one will sit in judgment. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you were mentioning this, even if something couldn't be used, when Prabhupada was in 26-second Ave, you get it, that, what is it, Matchless Gifts storefront, and there were all these hippies, and Bawari was really all the, Bawari was not a sattvic place over there. So there used to be this guy who was a complete alcoholic, drugged, crazy fellow. And he used to be outside, he would never go in. But he saw Prabhupada, and what he's doing, the kirtan, and all these young hippies are going there and they're dancing and stuff like that. Not a person with a lot of means, dirty clothes, dirty appearance, and stuff like that. So one day he just walks, Prabhupada is giving class, he just walks into the assembly, and Prabhupada stops the class and he's just walking, he comes walking towards Prabhupada, and some devotees were, if someone is drugged, he could do anything. So they were getting a little antsy. And he takes a toilet roll and he offers Prabhupada. So Prabhupada says, the bathroom is over there. And he goes and places it in the bathroom and he walks out, and Prabhupada told him, thank you very much. Now, the toilet roll is something which Prabhupada doesn't use because the Vedic ways you do with water. Yeah. But Prabhupada appreciated that gesture. He wanted to do something. He offered something. You get it? So something for him, he uses it. He thought it's something of utility. And he offered, and then the pure devotee. Now, our lesson is when someone gives us a gift, what you do is you'll try to see what the price tag is. That means how valuable am I to this person? And then people, they'll either cut off the price tag, or I had a friend of mine, he used to come here and he used to do shopping by the suitcasefuls. He used to go to the mall with these big suitcases and stuff. And he used to take all these, whatever, jeans, perfumes, this, that, and all, back to to give his employees. So, but he used to keep the price tag on. So I said, how cheap can you get? So he says, no, they should know how much I value them. And then I was just thinking that, the cost of something is what your value is, how cheap that is. If I think my value is based on how expensive a gift that I get. And see here, Prabhupada, and see, Mataji, who's your Guru Maharaj, if I may ask, please?
Hare Krishna. Vaisheshika Prabhu.
Ah, Hare Krishna, or Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat to his lotus feet. So
There's
he used
in pop. I was going to say in pop modern culture, there in American culture, the time frame of when Srila Prabhupada had come was also a time where children who had been raised by parents that were part of the Depression, then they wanted to be able to show their wealth. And that's when polo shirts that had like a little Lacoste alligator and having logo and emblem on your shirts came about, was so that people could outright show my shirt costs more because it has this thing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Great. So, thank you very much for sharing this. We'll go to the next aspect. So first one is self-surrender. Then what we're talking about is offering a favorite articles to Krishna. Yeah. So in Bhagavatam, Krishna is telling Uddhava, someone offers me the best thing in his possession or anything which is very pleasing to him, he will be eternally benefit. Janardana Bhavagrihi. I mean, there's literally nothing you can offer which is already his. And Romapad Maharaj gave a good example. There is a kid and he knows his dad's birthday is coming up. So he tells, daddy, 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 give me 50 bucks. Why you want 50 bucks? Daddy, 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 give me 50 bucks. The father says, okay, take 50 bucks. The kid takes that 50 bucks and he goes to the store and he buys him a nice shirt. And on his birthday, he says, hey, dad, this is for you. The father opens the wrapper. Now the father knows he has given him that. But the joy the father feels when the kid has given him that shirt, he'll open that excited, oh, thank you so much. And he'll hug the kid and, really appreciate him. And the kid is happy and the father is happy and everyone is happy over here. That's what we have. If there is something really, really precious to us, it's not ours in the first place, but we thought of Krishna. We thought of Krishna. And that's why devotional service, even thinking, even having that desire, gets you that benefit. Because we are Jad Buddhi, we need physical something, experiential to correct. But spiritual, Krishna is sitting here. He knows our deepest, darkest fear. He knows our deepest shame. He knows the greatest accomplishments we have. There's nothing that you can hide from him. So when that little thought, just see how beautiful a little thought, think just little and how much he does. You take one little step to you, he'll take 100 steps. 3 steps, he covered all the universes, right? Bali Maharaj past time, Vamana Dev. So that's what he will be eternally benefited. Now, offering should be done wholeheartedly, not like the kurmura wala. There is this story. There was this guy who used to sell kurmura. What do you call kurmura in English? I don't know. You know, it's that puffed rice.
Puffed rice.
Rice,
Puffed rice.
puffed rice. So he used to sell kurmura outside the temple. And every day the pujari would go by. He says, please offer me little. I'll offer it to the deity. No, 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 come tomorrow, come. So he used to keep saying this. Then one day, he was, he's making it hot so that it remains crisp. He was turning it in his pan, and a gust of wind came, woof, and all that kurmura went up. And as it is going up, he says, "Hey, Vishnu, this is for you. I'm Arpana. I'm offering this all to you." Krishna is in the heart. He knows. He says that, okay, this kurmura wala thought that it is going, gone. Might as well I'll get a little bit, some benefit from it. I've offered it to Vishnu. Nah, that is not devotional service. That is not devotional service. And many a times what happens, things that we don't use, things that we don't need, it happens that someone may go and drop it off at the temple. The temple is not a beggar. Krishna is not a beggar. If there is a used mattress, you put it in the temple so that the residents can use. That's not the right attitude. You may think you're doing some kind of a charity, but no. Why don't we go out and buy a new mattress? Hey, this is for Krishna's devotee. Whatever, 200, 500 bucks, whatever it be. So if I really, really love Krishna, then his devotee is no different than my child. If my child needs a new mattress, I'm not going to some second-hand or Salvation Army to get that. So that's what it is. We should not be like a kurmura wala. And then, this is a little couplet I read anonymous. What is it that is mine when all there is his? Who am I to judge and prosecute? Behold, the words of truth in the mouth of a mute. What does this mean? Everything is his, yet I sit in judgment of others, either vocally or through my action and behavior, or definitely mentally. Definitely mentally. So if everything is his, if I'm sitting in judgment of someone, if I'm being critical, if I'm doing ninda, I'm actually doing it to Krishna. And here I say I love Krishna. Oh, I'm a Brahmana. I worship Krishna. I go on the altar. Oh, I do so much seva. I do book distribution. I'm chanting Ekadashi. I do Nirjal. I'm doing 32 rounds, this, that, whatever. And like elephant bath, we go and then, a devotee, we bear ill will. Devotees are first circle. Anybody. Oh, he's not karmi. Oh, he's like that, he's like that. So devotion, bhakti is not something, a pedestal to which our ego can climb up. Main bada bhakt. No, no, no. That's not the way it is. So this is what, when we talk about the mood of how we offer something to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Comments? Hari bol. Then we have endeavoring for Krishna, and then after that we'll have Tulsi. What's the time check? Oh, I'm sorry I started off late. So I think we'll wrap this up in the next 5-10 minutes. They say working hands are better than praying lips. Who agrees? I'm just doing the same exercise which Gopinath Prabhu from Radha Gopinath Mandir had done with a bunch of school kids. Working hands are better than praying lips. Or is prayer more powerful than hands that work. We have 25.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Talking doesn't mean anything. You have to do the action to show your love.
Okay. So Mataji says that working hands are better than praying lips. Not talking, huh? Praying.
They're praying. Sorry.
Okay, so we have one. Out of 24, one Mataji has spoken. Hari bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam, Sadhguru Krishna Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I think it would depend what the hands are working for. If it's working for Krishna, then definitely it's better than praying lips. So yeah, I mean dovetailing that working towards Krishna.
We have one all.
Yeah.
But look at it this way. Working for Krishna, but I'm also praying to Krishna. So let's say my prayer is gratitude. Thank you, Krishna, for all that you've given us. Tera lakh lakh shukar hai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It could also mean, so there are different yogas. Bhakti yoga includes more of taking Bhagwan's name and being absorbed in that way of remembering him or being connected with him. But there is a karma yoga also. So when we do our activities day to day, that also we have to connect to Krishna somehow. So the central body of the gravity should be Krishna, no matter what we do. And somewhere I had come across that doing is even more than like when you're doing something, you're definitely doing it around your surrounding and not just doing it for yourself. So it's more connected to seva and shram dan.
Good point. Good point. Here they say actions speak louder than words. Yeah. But that's because our condition is, as I said, never jada. We need physical, experiential things. But Krishna is not like that. He is bhavagrahi, right? Okay. So we have right now 2-1. 2 for action and 1 for prayer. Okay, let's give the answer which Gopinath Prabhu had done. So there were the pros and cons of both sides. And he gave a very simple line. Working hands that pray are the best of all. So I could be, meaning to say I should be in a prayerful mood when I'm doing something. It's not that I'm only in a prayerful mood when I'm on the altar. I should be in a prayerful mood even when I'm cleaning the toilet. I should be in a prayerful mood when I'm cleaning the toilet. That's it. Working hands that pray, the praying lips are the best. Hare Krishna. So endeavoring for Krishna. Endeavoring for Krishna. So what does this mean? Yeah. Attitude of gratitude ignites seva bhavana. Meaning to say is, currently, earlier we mentioned doable if able when seva opportunity comes. But actually, if we are truly, truly grateful, what do I really deserve? A problem is we think we deserve everything. Oh, I've done my engineering, therefore I deserve this job. Oh, I have so much experience, therefore I deserve this kind of a pay package. Oh, I've done this, therefore I deserve that. All our qualifications. And even if we don't have qualifications, the mind is such, the ego is so inflated that, it wants to lord over everything. We are little Ishwaras. So we are not grateful, we are ungrateful. But little things that you see around you. And if you actually appreciate and you see the hand of Krishna behind everything, and then we really see how insignificant we are, and then we really understand the meaning of mercy, that's when that gratitude comes in. And a person who's grateful can't help but serve. Hare Krishna. So be grateful. Start practicing acts of gratitude. Very simple. At night before you go to sleep, just write down 2-3 things that you are grateful for. and then at the end of the week, just revise. And then just see how your notebook starts growing. Little insignificant things that we don't even take into consideration. But when you think about it, be thoughtful, be mindful about it. That's when you see the wonder and beauty all around us. Hare Krishna. So again, we discussed Nishkam Karma Yoga. No need to repeat that. So when we endeavor for Krishna, that should be the attitude, and the Yukta Vairagya principle, that anything and everything can be used in Krishna's service. Then always be jumping. John Kennedy, the president of US, was very successful at a very young age. Very successful, the leader of the most powerful country. Yeah, very charismatic person. He stared down the Russians, Bay of Pigs, right? World war, imagine nuclear war, which would annihilate. He didn't blink. They were playing chicken with with nuclear missiles from Cuba. He, his spine was made of steel. So Life magazine asked him in an interview, "You're so successful. What do you attribute your success to?" And he says, "I jump at every opportunity." So naturally, the report asked, how do you know when an opportunity comes knocking at your door? He says, "I don't, but I'm jumping all the time." You see, just this little statement, jumping all the time. So literally in our lives, every opportunity is there to serve. We can serve with our thoughts. We can serve with our words. We can serve with our body. There are so many things that we can serve. It's an opportunity. If we are jumping all the time, then you won't see things as, you won't see a tree as a tree. You look up and the clouds that you see, beautiful. Those of you who get up early and you see, dawn spreading across the sky, such beautiful colors. Your thought, you'll think of, oh, this is Sham Sundar golden. Oh, this is Mahaprabhu golden. This is Sham Sundar. There are so many different colors which will come here, and you'll get all these, and you're serving. What you're doing, always think of me, do remember me, don't forget me. Yeah, manmana bhava padma. That's what you can do, and so many, it's literally infinite. So that's what we should be doing, always jumping to serve. And when a physical service comes, Krishna Namanand Prabhu calls, there's a book distribution program. Oh, it's so cold. What to do? Of course, there are some sevas which are VIP sevas, which has high visibility. Lead a kirtan, give a class. But for Krishna, more menial the service. What happens? You're doing a menial service like cleaning a toilet. You're not just cleaning the toilet, you're also cleaning your false ego along with it. One devotee went to Prabhupada, a disciple, and a lot of enthusiasm. He said, "Prabhupada, I'm your most humble devotee, disciple." And Prabhupada, offered his obeisance. Prabhupada looked down at him and said, "You're the most of nothing. You're the most of nothing." So when we have this huge inflated ego over here, yeah, sometimes the service itself becomes like an air pump, which makes it more and more. Yes, I think I'm doing an act of devotional service. So if there is kirtan, you love doing kirtan, do kirtan. It doesn't matter. Whether you get to lead the kirtan, you don't get to lead the kirtan. Sing for Krishna. If you're giving class, it doesn't matter whether there's only one person or whether there is a stadium full of 20,000 people. Doesn't matter. Whom are you doing it for? You're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's pastime. Two brahmacharis he sent out to preach, and they were very excited because they had booked a big hall and hundreds of people would come. And when they reached over there, hardly a handful. So with so much excitement and preparation, they went and they came back and they said, "Gurudev, hardly anyone showed up." Then Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Maharaj gave a very important instruction. He's saying, even if there is nobody, you preach to the walls, because what you're doing is you're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. You go for book distribution, you're not going there to be the best book distributor. They also serve who stand and wait. John Milton, Paradise Lost, he lost his eyesight, blind. Even standing, waiting, and desiring in itself is a service. Hare Krishna. Any questions about endeavoring for Krishna? Very good. We'll bring it to a close with worshipping Tulsi Maharani. So you know this prayer, right? Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Pratidevi Satate Namo Namaha. I offer my obeisances to Vrinda Srimati Tulsi Dani Devi, who is very dear to Lord Keshava. O goddess, you bestow devotional service to Lord Krishna. Now, may take about 5 minutes. There is a small little write-up on this, and I'll need some volunteers to please read the paras. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so please read from my Srimati from here.
Srimati Tulsi Devi is an eternal associate of Sri Krishna and perpetually serving the divine couple in the spiritual realm of Gokula, Vrindavan in the home of Vrinda Devi, who very expertly sends message and arranges for the rendezvous of Radha Madhav. In her form as the Tulsi plant, she bestows all auspiciousness upon all the living entities and can sow within one's heart the rarer seed of Prem, Krishna Prem. Her limitless glories have been expounded throughout the ancient scripture, and great personalities take every opportunity to glorify her transcendental qualities.
Thank you,
Do I
Mataji.
go ahead?
Now, some other devotee can read. Wherever it is highlighted, you could read up till there.
Hare Krishna. In one of his songs in Sharangasti, Sril Bhakti Vinod Thakur has described Tulsi Devi as Madhav Toshani, one who is very dear to Sri Madhav, and for the reason Krishna does not accept any offering without Tulsi. Merely seeing, touching, watering, or offering respects to Srimati Tulsi Devi frees one from all sinful reactions and bestows great spiritual merit. The place where Tulsi Devi grows is completely purified and becomes akin to a holy place of pilgrimage, and Sri Krishna personally resides there. It is also stated that just by keeping the mud from the base of Tulsi plant or by placing the same on one's body, one attains immense spiritual merit. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, thank you. So if someone can read the last section.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Her presence is so powerful that her smell and her very shadow purifies a place, and a person whose body is burnt using tulasi wood is sure to attain the holy abode of the Lord. Srimati Tulasi Devi is limitlessly glorified, and rightfully so, as she can instill within one's heart loving sentiments for the divine couple Sri Gandharvika Giridhari, who are eternally performing sweet pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. Knowing her unfathomable greatness and her potency to bestow Krishna Bhakti, Srila Prabhupada instructed all the devotees to daily worship her and sing Tulasi Aarti in the morning in order to invoke her auspicious blessings, so that with her blessings we may be able to progress steadily in our spiritual life. And therefore all the devotees bow down to her with utmost respect and forever pray to her causeless mercy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ji ki jai. So devotees, here's the explanation about why worship Tulsi. Now here is another one, if somebody could please read this. Okay, if no one does, I'll read it. In the Skanda Purana, there's a statement about Tulsi as follows. Tulsi is auspicious in all respects, simply by seeing, simply by touching, simply by praying to, simply by bowing before, simply by hearing about, or simply by sowing this tree. There's always auspiciousness. Anyone who comes in touch with the Tulsi tree in the above mentioned ways lives eternally in the Vaikuntha world. Hare Krishna. Self-explanatory. If anyone has a question, please ask about and why worship Tulsi Maharani. Okay, so no questions, comment. I'll leave you with this thought. Today, it is Wednesday, but it is already Thursday in Australia. And 10th Jan was yesterday in Australia, right? So what it means is we learn, you get to know stuff, practice it, more important. Practice brings about realizations. Whatever you know, you can forget.
Curly? Curly? Yeah. Ilan na? Krishna lang na. Oh no.
Sorry about that. So whatever we put into practice becomes realizations, and realizations you don't forget. So whatever is important, do it now. Prioritize stuff. And Kabir, a great saint from India, he had said, Kal kare so aaj kar, aaj kare so ab, pal mein pralay hoegi, bahuri karoge kab. Translated in English, tomorrow's work do today, today's work do it now. In any moment, the end may arrive. So your work will be done how? So we have this opportunity, dear devotees, to engage in bhakti. Everything has been simplified for us. We just have to engage in that. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. And, I wish to offer my most humble obeisances to Prabhupada, of course, Guru Varga, and so many Vaishnavas from whom I have continue learning this forum, other forums at ICNJ, Yatra, and so many other different yatras. If you're interested in knowing more about the subject matter, actually, there's this Mataji, Medhavini Sakhi Devidasi. She has prepared a nice study guide. So if you like, I'll put up the email over there. You could send a request, and I will email you that, each chapter, what is the essence of that. And that is the basis on which I have prepared today's presentation. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Over to you, Sameshwar Prabhu. Haribol. Oh yeah, at the start of the class, I'll tell you about the why I was late and some realizations. There is flooding in our area, and I pick up my wife from the train station, which is about 3 miles away. So I left about 20 minutes because in the morning there were some detours, but evening it had gotten worse, and it's already dark. And I was going here and there, and running around in circles, and the GPS Mataji was also getting confused. And something which takes 3 miles, usually it's about a 9 to 10 minute ride with traffic. It took me over an hour to get over there. And in the morning, I had taken the route, not the usual route to get back home. And I saw that, okay, fine, it's a little longer, but we'll do this. That also was closed, and now it's 6:45. And I called up Sameshwar Prabhu. I said, Prabhu, I'm getting late, maybe 5-10 minutes, but so it's okay, we'll do kirtan in the meantime or something. So this is what my realization was I made all my plans. Yeah, I made all my plans. Okay, I'll leave a little early. And there was a lot of frustration happening. One is because, Sachi Rani, the poor thing, it's cold. And she'll be freezing over there, and that station doesn't have a waiting room or something like that, just exposed to the elements. And this traffic and getting lost, and also there was the frustration which was building up. And then finally, what is it that I can do? I'm given in this situation yesterday or day before. Kalandi Mataji has said, Prabhupada said, right? Make the best deal of a bad situation, whatever you could do in that. So just started chanting Hare Krishna, and that anger kind of, how do you say, from a raging fire, it turns down to a simmer. It didn't go away completely. Maybe I didn't chant properly. So yes, devotees, important thing, bring him back to this point. We learn, practice it. Humble, humble request. Hare Krishna. I don't know, Simeshwar Prabhu, are you there? Okay, so I think Simeshwar Prabhu must be busy with I know he does DT Seva after he gets back from work. So we'll bring this to a close. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grantraj Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Nita Gaur Bhakta Brind ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Hari 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 Bol.
Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.